So we're gonna take a different approach on this. And before I really get into this conversation, it's about hip hop and it's about R&B, hip hop, and everything pertaining to that, pertains streams and getting it from the store, getting albums from the store, CDs, stuff like that. We'll take a really deep dive into that in a minute. After a word from my sponsor, we'll definitely get into that. Okay, so while we're having this conversation about streams versus CDs, there was a guy that went on Twitter. Well, he went somewhere, and he was claiming basically CDs versus he's basically trying to say that we shouldn't have streaming services. Well, he was saying that streaming services we should have to pay more for streaming services because of the more of the catalog we get to see, right? And he was saying that we should have to physically go get the album because we don't have to physically go get it. It should be more. Now, there are two sides to this debate for me. So there's literally the what are we gonna listen to CD part of it, and then it's the sales value part of it. Okay, so the whole going in the store and getting it part of the CD. Now I don't know. I still get CDs. I still have that Lauryn Hill CD, with the Misunderstood album. I still buy albums. I still buy vinyls. So I think I'm probably probably one of the only people that still does this. So I still buy my CDs, but I also stream music, and I do a little bit of the view. Now, CD wise, he's right, because when you go get a CD, you're spending your money for that specific CD out of every other thing in that genre. And I think when I went to go get them, they were $19.99, so $20, and then you could get some for like $10, but you had $20 and $10, depending on where you went to go get them from. There are a lot of places that still sell CDs that you can get them from, and vinyls. Second and Charles, if you don't have one of those, any real record shop normally has it. I don't know if a lot of people go to the library, but you go to the library and get you some CDs and listen to something like that. So I get it. When you went to go get that CD, that's the only artist you was going to support, or the few artists you were going to support, because you only knew those artists, right? So spending that money on that CD means you like that artist out of anything else that could have dropped that year, or anything out of that month, or anything that you knew had dropped already. You would already like that, so you came in the store personally to buy it. So I get it. He's saying, okay, well, on the shopper side of it, when you really went to go get a CD, you made the mindset to get in the car, go get the CD, still planned on getting it, heard, didn't really hear anything, put it in a CD player and play it. And to that aspect, that is very true. It is so weird that we don't have to do that now because we have streaming. Now, streaming, my side of streaming and streaming, you don't really have to go anywhere. Streaming brought a lot of people more comfort and brought them a broader category for music that they would like. So I don't personally know the price on streaming services to listen to music. I kind of like use YouTube as like a streaming service, like people use Spotify as a streaming service. And as I'm saying, Spotify is free, YouTube is free to stream music, and that's fine. Okay. So the whole thing about streaming, I get it. He's saying you can do it in the comfort of wherever you're at. You ain't got to get up. You ain't got to go nowhere. But you also don't have to go, okay, let me get this, let me get this, let me get this. Oh, I ain't never heard of this artist. Let me go look to see what they have put out, and maybe I like it. Or you can worry about their features and look it up. And just find a quick song or a couple albums that you like from that person. And that is very convenient. Now, if he's saying we pay for the convenience aspect of it, yeah, I can get it. You're paying a lot more money for the convenience of listening to that music. Like Amazon Music. They kind of make a playlist where you kind of listen to songs that sound similar or in a similar genre as the song that you or artist that you really like. So I get that when he's saying there should be a lot more, it should be a little bit more. Personally, I understand what he's saying that, but it's kind of like, what do you prefer, right? Like I have a Beatles album that I would love to play vinyl, and a Lauryn Hill that I love playing in my CD player, right? It's just kind of what you prefer. Now I don't think you should raise it because you prefer streaming or you prefer CD. Like I don't think, hey, since I'm like sitting in a store to buy a CD player, a CD store. Oh yeah, this might not show my age. This might show my age, or just might show how genuinely I hang around a lot of people that used to buy a lot of CDs. So you would go to a CD store. You could really find any place that had, like, Walmart used to do them, Target used to do it. I don't know if they do it much anymore. And you would get like a movie, like almost. Closest thing I can think of somebody understanding it is Blockbuster. Like Blockbuster used to rent the movies and rent games and do like that. So that's what you used to do for CDs. And you used to put them in like a CD player. So the aspect on the sales wise, right? Like streaming services, you're going to be able to do a lot more. Like you're not confined. Like you're not confined to that one CD, that one album, that one of anything, right? Streaming, you can hop artist to artist to artist, a song to song to artist to song, with a couple ads in between, so you can get their free service, and that's fine. And I get that, and it's easier, I think, streaming wise, when we talk about units, right? So unit wise, streaming might officially be easier to like count them up and everything, other than buying CDs. Because CDs, you had to go from every single store, and kind. I guess you would have to see how many they signed up, do this, how many stores sold it with bundles, and that's the whole thing. They used to do CDs with like specials. Like if you used to be able to get it with like I want to say Mountain Dew or anything, a Pacific company, but like you can do it with a soda or a snack company, and that's how you normally get your CDs out there on either billboards or in sales or in promotion, right? Like there's Rap Snacks. While streaming, you just kind of say, hey, here's my album, here it is, and your fan base kind of finds it. You go through Twitter or whatever search you use to find new music. Rap TV, you can look on the Rap TV because they put out every Friday of what songs are dropping, or just from the artist itself. And so it doesn't take, okay, I gotta go to the store, get along the line, buy the CD. Hey, so and so, for example, Meek Mill is dropping, and say Lil Wayne is dropping. I ain't gotta spend $40 on CDs to play them. I can go, let me go to Spotify, let me go to YouTube, let me stream both of these, right? Back to back to back, which is great. But and especially because CDs, you had to have a record deal, and you had to be in stores because they had distributing rights. So CDs, you had to get distributing rights. With streaming services, you don't really have to have a distributor. You can distribute it yourself. SoundCloud used to do it. For example, some people use SoundCloud. I've heard a lot of other distributors for other different people, like Mickey Bradboy. They use different distributors. I think Carlin Ears might use a different distributor too. But I think you could be more. You can now, with streaming, in the age of streaming, you can have a lot more freedom and not have to sign like a $10 million. So you sign a contract with a record label for $10 million and say, hey, yo, how am I gonna pay that $10 million back when you do it yourself, buy your own equipment, and really you can make your own personal studios now, which I think is a plus in the age of technology. So streaming, it's probably easier to count the units overall, which I do think is better because when we were with CDs, you had to go through record labels, do this, do that, and just to get your album in stores. You gotta do no matter to get in the door, right? But with streaming services, you can kind of do what you want, right? Like you can put it out whenever you want. You can make the album yourself. You can produce it yourself. You can meet other producers that you want to produce yourself. You can find beats, and that's why I just think streaming is better. Granted, I still buy my albums either from the iTunes store or like go in store, buy CDs, stuff like that. But it does make it it makes a valid argument. Should we really up some streaming services prices? I personally don't think so, but I can understand why people think so because you're paying for the comfort. Like if I'm going to Uber Eats or Postmates, which Postmates is still around, but they think they're with Uber Eats. So if I was gonna go out, right, and I order food from what's a restaurant? Wendy's, right? And the bill comes up to like $10, right? And I pay them, and I end up paying like 25 $27. I'm not sure. I don't really order out food much. I like to cook. Um, but I understand it's about necessity and access to it. So so that's fine, right? And I think that's kind of the thing. So I expect to, for that comfort, I expect to pay a little bit more. Some people expect, for comfort you should pay a little bit more. For not having to leave my house, I pay the delivery company or DoorDash a fee for them to deliver it to me. And I think that's what he's saying. If you're in a comfort spot and you don't want to get up, maybe you should pay us a little bit more for stream services, because we're making it easier for you to find music that you like and more artists that you listen to, and wider the market for people. And I get it; it goes both ways. But personally, I'm gonna still go with streaming services because it's easier to get your name out of there, and you don't really have to sign deals with record labels. Now, that might be a bad thing to say, but you got to look at artists like Tory Lanez, Bryson Tiller, Her. You have to look at a lot of artists, and even underground artists like the guy from the Ville that made Pootieville, Michaela Bad Boy, Carly in the Universe, right? Like they would all have to go through labels to get their stuff even listened to and stuff like that. And I think getting away from that market was a good thing for independent artists, so artists can be more independent. Which I think a more independent artist, the better their songs are, so they don't have to rush it. They ain't got to worry about time limits. They can put songs out they really enjoy, and I think that's the only downfall to CDs. That CDs, okay, you had to release one single, you had to release a lead single, you had to release a club mix, and then you had to go through all these executives, producers, engineers, all of these people. And streaming wise, you ain't really got to do one of that. Like I don't think anybody looks for engineers, producers, songwriters. I don't think you have to really look for that. But also with technology of streaming services, it's not that hard to really collaborate with people, which I think is good. And if you're getting into and like if you are an artist, right? I would definitely go check out BandLabs, right? Because they have everything you need for it, and I think that's just it's easier, right? Like you can use stuff in the programs themselves, and I think with technology, streaming is the better way to go. But I don't think you should have to pay for comfort. But I can understand why some people believe if you want that comfort, you got to pay for it. But I told you, it's still a valid argument to make. But I think it gives more people a shine because they're independent artists. Now people still do only listen to like the major artists that are signed, like Meg Thee Stallion, Drake. He just got out of his contract a year ago, but he was signed to when he made Scorpion. He was assigned still to Young Money, Cash Money, Lil Wayne, artists that made themselves off of brands. Like I think, what's Drake without YMCMB? What's Nicki without YMCMB? What is Wayne without YMCMB? Like, what are they without YMCMB? They're artists. But YMCMB gave them that platform to make their names for themselves. Like Cash Money, for example, Rose and Maybach Music. Meek Mill, it helped them out, right? Like, the label helped them out. Independent artists, that just means they have to work a little bit harder to get on these streaming services, contracts, deals, that they can do from themselves and don't really have to run to the label, which I think is a good thing. But I don't think we should have to pay for it. We should have to pay more for the comfort of really artists being able to do more and do stuff the way they want to on their own time. Hey, but tell me, but if you feel a different way, let's discuss in the comments. Let's really see where it really lies.